In this video, I'm going to introduce the Fat Channel. The Fat Channel is so well known for this board that if you bought one or you use one, it probably needs no introduction. The only interesting thing about it is it doesn't actually say Fat Channel on the board, so this area is not labeled. But the blue section right in the middle of the board, front and center, is the Fat Channel, and it's most famous for being able to add all of the dynamics and EQ to each channel of your mix. Now you can also add it to the monitors, you can add it to the mains and the subs. Almost everywhere that you see a select button, you have the opportunity to add some level of Fat Channel processing. So I'm going to select channel 1. Now that opens up the Fat Channel to channel 1. Now if you take a look at it, it's set up in a series of modules. It goes into a high pass filter, and the signal flow you can think of going left to right across the channel. So it goes into a high pass filter, and then it goes into a gate. This button right here that says digital output post EQ dyne, we're not going to worry about that. That is related to recording through the board, and we're not covering that in this video series, but stay tuned, we'll get into that in a later series. So it goes into a gate that lets you gate off extraneous noise or cut the signal out when no instruments are playing. Each of these sections I'll have separate videos on to show you what all these controls are for. This is a full professional quality gate on this board. This is the 24 channel board. The 32 channel board has an identical Fat Channel. Now if you're on the 16 channel board, the 1642 AI, that one has a slightly reduced gate, actually a very simple gate, and a simplified compressor. Actually all these controls are simplified a little bit. Don't worry about that. I will also show you how it works on the 1642 as well. Now it goes through in this direction. If you don't know how to use a gate, or you don't need a gate on the channel, just leave it off. Each module has a button to turn it on and off. Same thing for the compressor. You can engage or disable a compressor. And there's a limiter, a very simple limiter on this board. It's got just a control to set the ceiling level of the limiter. Also, same thing, if you don't understand a limiter, stay tuned. I'll explain it in a later video. If you don't know how to use it, then you can just leave it turned off right here. The 16 channel board, it's just a button. You can just turn it on or off. Anyway, it's a very effective limiter. Then we get over to the EQ. Now the EQ, along with the high pass filter, are the most commonly used things, and you'd find them in boards of all price ranges. So even if you've used the simplest analog board, it probably has an equalizer. So if you want to use the equalizer, then you can just actually enable it by turning it on, but then you'd need to also turn on all these other controls. Maybe not the shelf, but I think for just basic EQ, just light them all up like that. If you want to add a little bit of highs to the signal, then you could come over to the gain knob on any of these bands, high, add a little highs. If you want to boost the lows a little bit, you go over here to the gain knob, boost the lows a bit. Want to take out a little bit of boom in the mid-range or the low mids, you just dial that back a little bit. That's kind of the really simple view of how to use the equalizer on here. Of course, you can turn it on or off to see if you like the changes that you made by boosting or cutting. Now, what if somebody came and twisted all the knobs and now you have no idea where these things should be set? Well, there's a really cool feature that's been added to the AI series boards. Over here above the tap button, it says null. If you hold down tap and then you turn any of these knobs, it will set them back to their default position. So if we mess them up a little bit, hold down tap, you can just sort of roll your finger across the top and reset the Fat Channel to its default settings. So that's extremely helpful when you're getting started with this board. Now there's one other thing that's new, and that's the Alt button. If you hit Alt, then you get an alternative setup on the entire Fat Channel for whatever channel you have selected. Right now I've got this set up on kick. This is the A setting, but if I go to B, then I can set up a different Fat Channel, like maybe I'll boost this a little bit, maybe I'll turn on the gate or something like that. Then I can go back and forth between two different settings. So I'm going to play back a little sound, and we'll actually do that with the gate. All right, that shows you a little bit about how you can use the AB button. That's the Alt AB. And really, it just gives you the opportunity to set up a whole different fat channel setting. When we get into presets, you'll see how you can load different presets into the A fat channel or the B fat channel for any of the channels. So that's an overview of the fat channel. In the next videos, we're going to break down each of the modules of the fat channel, and I'll show you exactly how they work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.